I think he's going to be extraordinary in the NFL. First question is we should be asking, I would not be choosing the NFL over Major League Baseball at any point. $333 million deal by Bryce Harper? I mean...
Well, that's if you're going to be a star. There's probably a better probability, based on people scouting, that him being typically a marginal major leaguer compared to being a starting quarterback. Yeah. Those economics change a little bit. But, yes, Bryce Harper, that's some for real money.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be good in the NFL. I think you've seen over the time that he has a great arm and he's able to lead that offense. He's done great numbers over there in Oklahoma, and I think he's going to have a lot of success.
Also, without talking to you, I think that based on you being drafted and
you're
undrafted, and then your brother also his draft process, that you're about a chance. You went to Seattle where they just took guys no matter what draft and just give them an opportunity. So you're probably about, man, if this guy gets the right opportunity, gets to the right team, you believe he can be a superstar in this league.
Yeah, I believe anybody could be a superstar if they put the work in, and I think this guy's done it at the college level. He's a Heisman champion. I mean, he didn't play good against Bama, but at the same time, he's still a great quarterback. I think he has the opportunity if he gets in the right system. I think he's fast enough. I think he has the arm, and I think he also has the willpower, and he's just a great competitor. And I think that's the number one thing you look at a quarterback. Will he compete? And I think for sure this guy's going to compete at every time and every level.
There's one legitimate knock on him. He'd be the shortest quarterback in the NFL, the shortest quarterback ever drafted under the current process. But you won a Super Bowl with the shortest quarterback in the NFL in Russell Wilson. How his height doesn't seem to scare you at all, and you're a guy that makes your living going after quarterbacks no matter the size. Why is the height seemingly not a concern for you?
I think the height makes it harder for you as a defender when you rush in the quarterback because you can't really see where he is, and he has the ability to have that running mode. He runs and he can see. I think Russell Wilson does a great job of being able to get out the pocket and find ways to throw the ball out, and you can't really sack him because Russell just has that ability, and I think he has that ability too. Look at him juking guys and does a lot of great things with the ball. So I don't know. I just feel like he still could be successful. I think a lot of people are doubting him because he's not tall, but there's a lot of tall quarterbacks like Paxton that went to the Broncos, and he was 6'7", and he didn't turn out very well. So I think this guy he's a competitor. That's the thing I look for in a quarterback. Will he compete, and will he lead his team? And I think he's going to do that. And so everybody that gets him, I think he's going to be that guy.
So you mentioned two things. Will he compete, and will he lead his team? The other so-called knock on him, if you will, this week was questioning his leadership and whether he could be a good leader, a good locker room rah-rah guy, the way Russell is. Do you see that in him? I mean, can you get that from him? His interviews haven't been great, but is that always the most important thing you're looking for in a quarterback?
I think it's hard to interview at the combine because it's the first time in your life for him where everybody's trying to find what's wrong with him. What can he do? And what is he? What's your secrets? And I think over time, if you look in those games when the game was on the line, he always stepped up. He was always cheering his guys on. Yeah, this guy's slapping guys on the butt, just like, hey, let's go, let's go. In the game when he was down, he got hit. He came back in the game. He's playing as hard as he can. So those are the qualities that you look for in the quarterback. Will he play hurt? Will he compete? And I think that's the things that I see for him personally.
How much of, and obviously you're a defensive player, but how much of, in your opinion, analyzing the game for a successful quarterback is what he can do physically and mentally as a football player on the field, and what he does leading up to the game, what he does with the teammates? Because as great of a thrower as Russell is, as tough as he is, one of his, I think, best attributes is stuff he does during the week. The presence he has about him, at least that's everything I've read. What's the equation in your mind about what makes a great quarterback in this league?
I think it's about his work ethic, and I think this guy has proven that he's has a great work ethic. If you see his success on the field, you don't put up these type of numbers if you're not studying. You don't put up those type of numbers, whether it's rushing, whether it's throwing. So obviously, what is his work ethic? Or he's going to lead his teammates, and does he have fun? And obviously, in college, he was a great teammate. You can see all those guys coming to his defense, his coaches. I mean, if he was a bad guy, I think the coaches would have came out and said it. I mean, even when he had his past, when it came up about what he did when he was a young kid, he came back, he tweeted about it, he talked about it, and he moved on from it. And I think those are the characteristics of great leadership, and I think he's going to be a great leader. I just hope guys just give him the opportunity to succeed.
You played with a couple of quarterbacks this season, one being Carson Wentz, the other one being Nick Foles. It's well reported Philadelphia is going to allow Nick to be able to experience free agency. But there's something that happened. Not only you talked about the injuries, you guys start getting healthy.
Yeah.
But Nick Foles, when Nick Foles is in the locker room as a starter, there's something happened. and it's more than just injuries, what are some of the intangibles that you saw in Nick Foles? Because you've played with some good quarterbacks, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. But what are the things that Nick Foles that add to Philadelphia? Because you guys were one of the most dangerous teams once it became playoff time.
I think Nick was just so calm. I think he's just really calm. I think that's the thing that made him, everybody, when you looked at Nick and you look in his eyes, you know there's never going to be a moment where it seems too big for him. And I think even in the tough games, even at that last game when we were on the line against Chicago and we were like, dang, it's 10 seconds left in the game. We was like, we know we're going to win because we know Nick is going to be calm in the pocket. He's going to make that throw. And so for Nick, he always plays big in big moments. And I think that's why we have so much respect for him. And in the locker room, he's just cool, calm, and collective. I call him Cool Nick, and other people call him other things. But at this time, we're just going to keep it PG. But
you guys tweeted about that this week, some of your teammates.
Yeah, but at the same time, Nick is always cool in the locker room. He's always playing around with the guys, playing games, whether shooting pool, playing ping pong. He's just a cool guy. And then when you have a quarterback who's, just down to earth, because a lot of times teams make it where quarterbacks are just on their own and they're studying doing all these things on their own. But it always felt like Nick and Russell were always a part of the team and whatever we were doing. So I think guys buy into that. And when you have an organization that allows the quarterback to be a part of the team in every single thing, I think it just builds a great camaraderie.
How is that different from Carson Wentz's approach?
I don't think so. I think Carson did the same thing. I think Carson was battling injuries. People forget that Carson tore his ACL in December, and he came back as fast as any quarterback has ever came back from knee injury. He played, and I think there's just those little small nuances that he didn't get a chance to do in the preseason, and he didn't get into, the shape that he probably could be if he was fully healthy. And I think everybody's forgetting how great Carson is, and I think Carson could have been the MVP the year before. You know what I'm saying? So I think Carson was just a little bit injured, and I think this year he's going to be a better quarterback because he's going to have time to, get over his injuries. And I think when you play injured and you end up getting more injured, and I think for him, he just kept getting little nicks and bruises, whether it was his back, whether it was his ankles, other things that were keeping him from having the success that he needed to have. And I think we were lucky to have a quarterback like Nick right behind and to come into the game. Most teams don't even have a starting quarterback.
Hey, before we go to break quickly, what was their relationship like? There were some things towards the end of the season questioning Carson Wentz's attitude towards Nick Foles being in there and whether he was a great locker room guy. Some of your guys came to his defense. What was their relationship like?
I seemed like their relationship was good. Lockers were right next to each other. They were trading books all the time. Nick wrote a book. And they were having a good time.
Books.
Same kind of stuff was going on between you and Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, it was just going around. I think the media they want to make a story, so they make a story. And when everybody starts to hear the story, people start to believe it. But I always felt that Carson was behind Nick. He didn't go in and was like not supporting him. When he came to the sideline, he would give him guidance. Hey, man, did you see this? Did you see that? And the same way Nick was. When Carson came back, Nick didn't have his head down. Most guys would have been like, oh, man. But at the same time, Nick was like, when my opportunity comes to get back in the game, I'm going to be a star. And when he got his opportunity, he was a star. So he played himself into these moments right now.
Will you stay with us one more segment?
No, not for free.
Awesome.
That's right.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.